Madam Speaker, people were shocked by this government's cruel choice to kick 46,000 Nova Scotians off of the heating assistance rebate program last fall. We heard from hundreds of Nova Scotians who were counting on that money to heat their homes this winter. One retired couple from East Hants told us that their HARP rebate meant they didn't have to worry about staying warm during our harsh winters. Without this support, they're making tough choices like cutting back on groceries each week to keep the heat on. Every constituency office in this province has heard these stories. Why is the Premier, who has overspent his budget year after year, taking support from Nova Scotians who need it most to pay for it?
I recognize the Honourable Minister of Service, Nova Scotia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank the member for this important question. Madam Speaker, we know the importance that HARP provides to vulnerable Nova Scotians to help support them in colder months, Madam Speaker, to help pay their heating bills. Madam Speaker, we know that there had been a change to the amount that HARP was. It was $600 and now it's $400. But Madam Speaker, we are continuing to make sure that it is $400 for the most vulnerable Nova Scotians. But Madam Speaker, when we have to make decisions like this, I want to recognize that there are other programs and other supports available to Nova Scotians at this point in time. That's why we have the Senior Care Grant, Madam Speaker, the Property Rebate Assessment, Madam Speaker. There are other supports. HARP is just one program, and we can't look at it in an isolation, but we have to look at all of these things together.
Good answer.
I recognize the Honourable Leader of the Official Opposition.
Madam Speaker, the Heating Assistance Rebate Program was given to vulnerable Nova Scotians to help them, to assist them in affording heating. And what the minister didn't say is, in addition to cutting the amount, 46,000 people who were deemed to be eligible previously are not eligible this year. That's 46,000 Nova Scotians who are not getting the assistance that they relied upon and that they need. The Premier's priorities are moving further out of step with what Nova Scotians expect. Just this week, changes have come forward that will allow Nova Scotia Power to avoid fines if they don't meet legislated targets. This is a company that lost Nova Scotians' private information in a data breach and whose parent company posted $1 billion in profit last year. We need the Energy Minister to have our backs. Why won't this government start a full review and find solutions for the Nova Scotians facing huge bills?
Order. Sit back down, member, please. I recognize the Honourable Minister of Service, Nova Scotia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I just want to remind Nova Scotians that, of course, HARP is still available for anyone who has yet to apply. And Madam Speaker, I know that the member had mentioned that folks are coming to constituency offices, and of course that is in my own case. And Madam Speaker, when I think about the other programs and the other supports that are available to Nova Scotians, I think about a gentleman who came into my office. And although he didn't recognize, yes, okay, HARP is not going to be the 600 that it was before, but that 400 is still meaningful for many, many people, Madam Speaker. So we need to encourage those who are still eligible to apply. But something that he also said to me, Madam Speaker, is I hope that people also recognize when they go to the hospital now, they don't have to pay for parking. So maybe those two things aren't correlated directly, but Madam Speaker, when we're looking at cost-saving measures, again, we have to look at this all in an entirety.
Order.